Howdy Longhorns, Miss Mackey here. Today we're going to talk about different learning styles. Last week I introduced to you three main learning styles: visual, auditory, and tactile. Visual learners learn best by seeing, auditory learners learn best by hearing, and tactile or kinesthetic learners learn best by doing or touching and feeling. If you think back to some of your favorite lessons from school, you may recognize a pattern. Maybe you know that over the last several years of schooling, you've become really into color coding and you're always using different color highlighters. Or maybe you've started memorizing various things that your teachers have given you using catchy songs. Still, others of you may think that your favorite lessons of all time are the ones that you've been up and out of your seat moving around. All of those different lessons have value and they're perfect for a certain type of learner. Most of us are probably a combination of all three styles, but usually there's one that sticks out above the rest. Despite what we may think, your teachers are not actually superheroes. So during one class period, sometimes we have to pick and choose, and our lesson for the day may just be primarily visual or auditory or kinesthetic tactile. But we try to insert a mix of all three styles as often as we can. If the lesson your teacher is assigning you is not in your primary learning style, then sometimes the responsibility falls on you to modify it as needed for your learning style. At this time, your advisory teacher is going to make sure that everyone in the classroom has a copy of the Learning Styles checklist. Make sure you also have something to write with at this time. Everybody make sure that you have your learning style self-assessment paper on your desk and something to write with. Make sure that you're looking at the side that is numbered 1 to 30. We'll use the chart side again in just a few minutes. At the top of your learning style self-assessment, there is a scoring key. You are going to be giving a number value to each of these 30 prompts, ranging from a 1 to a 4. If this is absolutely true about you and it absolutely sounds like something that you would do, then choose 4. If this is not something you would do, then choose 1. If you might do it just a little, pick number 2. And if you do it, but not all the time, then choose 3. So numbering from 1 to 4, you will give a value to every single one of these questions as we go through them together. So get your pen or pencil ready. I'm going to read through all 30 items, and all you have to do is write number 1 through 4 based on your personal response in the blank to the left. Ready? Let's go. Number 1. I feel the best way to remember something is to picture it in my head. If that is definitely not you, place a number 1. If it's kind of like you but not really, place a number 2. If that's kind of like you do it sometimes, place a 3. And if that's definitely you and you do it all the time, answer with a number 4. Number 2. I follow oral directions better than written ones. Number 3. I often would rather listen to a lesson than read the material in a book. Number 4. I'm constantly fidgeting or playing with something in my hands. Number 5. I frequently require explanations of diagrams, graphs, or maps. Number 6. I work skillfully with my hands to make or repair things. Number 7. I often prefer to listen to the radio, then read a newspaper. Number 8. I typically prefer information to be presented visually, so on the board or with the document camera. Number 9. I usually prefer to stand up while working. Number 10. I typically follow written instructions better than oral ones. Number 11. I am skillful at designing graphs, charts, and other visual displays. Number 12. I generally talk at a fast pace and use my hands more than the average person to communicate what I want to say. Number 13. I frequently sing, hum, or whistle to myself. Number 14. I am excellent at finding my way around even in unfamiliar surroundings. Number 15. I am good at putting jigsaw puzzles together. Number 16. I am always on the move. Number 17. I excel at visual arts. Number 18, I excel at sports. Number 19, I am an avid collector. Number 20, I tend to take notes during verbal discussions to review later. Number 21, I am verbally articulate and enjoy participating in discussions or debates. Number 22, I easily understand and follow directions on a map. 23, I remember best by writing things down several times or drawing pictures or diagrams. Number 24, I need to watch a speaker's facial expressions and body language to fully understand what they mean. Number 25, I frequently use musical jingles to learn things. Number 26, I often talk to myself when alone. Number 27, I would rather listen to music than view a piece of visual artwork. Number 28, I need to actively participate in an activity to learn how to do it. Number 29, I frequently tell jokes, stories, and make verbal analogies to demonstrate a point. Number 30, I use physicality like hugging to show signs of friendship. All right, at this time, your learning style self-assessment should have a whole lot of numbers over here on the left-hand side. If you turn to the back, you see a chart with 3 headings: visual, auditory, and tactile. All you're going to do is transfer the number that you wrote down on the front into the appropriate space on the back. So for question number 1, I wrote a number 1, so I'm going to put my score here. On item number 5, I wrote a number 2, so I'm going to write that here. Now you're going to flip back and forth, question by question, recording the answer that you selected in the space by that question's number. Now that I've finished recording all of my answers in the chart, I'm going to do some easy addition and I'm going to get a total for each column. I've added up all my columns and have found that I have 21 points in the visual category, 26 points in the auditory category, and 20 points in the kinesthetic and tactile category. That means that my number 1 learning style is the auditory style. If you have 2 numbers that are a tie or that are very close together, it probably means that those 2 learning types are about the same in your mind. If you have a section that definitely beat out the other 2, then go ahead and consider that your primary learning style. If you have 2 learning styles that both have very high scores, you may consider listing 2 primary learning styles. Now that you know your learning style, everything's going to be a piece of cake and you'll never have to work hard again. That's a lie. You're still going to have to work hard. Sorry, there's nothing you can do about it. But the idea is that if you know your learning styles, you can make little adjustments that will make studying easier for you. Your advisory teacher is going to take a tally of how many of you are visual, auditory, and tactile learners. Next week, your advisory teacher is going to be able to hand you a little chart that you can keep inside your folder with some tips related to your learning style or styles. In the meantime, you and your advisory class are going to brainstorm together and see how many different tips you can come up with that would help people in each of the different learning styles. Have one member of your advisory class be the recorder and using the whiteboard or a plain sheet of paper, come up with some ideas that you think would help students with visual, auditory, and kinesthetic learning styles. This week, try to pay attention to your learning style. When you go to classes, think about your learning style and see how you might be able to apply some of the techniques that you brainstormed to all the different things that your teachers are asking you to do. As you go through this week, pay attention. Keep note of any time that your learning style comes into play and be prepared to share it with your class next Monday. So until next time, Longhorns, keep working hard and I will see you next week.